Hey Riley, thanks for having me on the channel and thanks for asking me some of these questions. So I'm Josh from Aqua Mate, an Australian fish tuber or YouTuber. I've been keeping fish for about 27 years and currently have about 13 or 14 tanks on the run, and try and upload a video every week. So let's get into it. Question 1. Share with the audience what fish keeping means to you. I think fish keeping is a really good hobby. It's really good for anyone of any age. Kids get excited by it and older people can still have a relaxing natural fish tank in their house. The big thing that I love about fish keeping is you just get this big glass box and you create your own ecosystem inside that box, and you're responsible for the lives in there, the fish, the bacteria even, shrimp, whatever you choose. It's a really good thing to sort of be in control of and look after your pets really well, and you'll be rewarded with some of their behavior and even just sitting back relaxing and just watching them while you're trying to forget about all the hustle and bustle of everyday life. How did it feel losing so many fish recently? So recently we had a flood where I live. The flood was coming in and it was probably never going to be any sort of danger to my actual house. But we lost power and then we had no phone coverage. We're in a lockdown where we're not allowed to go anywhere. Because it was an emergency, I was able to leave my town and go and stay somewhere else. And we made that decision that we should get out while we could. And we didn't know whether we'd be sitting here not being able to buy any food because the local supermarket all runs on FPOS and that sort of thing. Whether if we had any issues, we couldn't call anybody. So we left for 72 hours or 3 days. And I thought my fish might be in a bit of trouble when it comes to heating. And then a little later on, I started worrying about filtration and the oxygen in the water without any water movement. Unfortunately, I came home and I would have lost upwards of about 150 fish. A lot of them were endlers and breeding live bearers, that sort of thing. But I lost a big sailfin pleco. I lost everything in the marine tank back there. So yeah, it was devastating. I really didn't know how to act or what to say, to be honest. It was amazing. Everyone around me, really supportive. Some people have offered to give me fish. I've sort of taken the chance to sort of reset some of the tanks and do them the way that I kind of had always been thinking about making changes. So I suppose I tried to take a positive out of it and learn from my mistakes and get USB backup, that sort of thing. And I know where to get a generator from if I need to. But it's reset a couple of tanks. And now I've been able to do some more aquascapes, which is something I'm really passionate about. And knowing that I can get some fish from some really reputable people around our industry and some really nice friends of mine, that it's kind of going to mean a little bit more, I suppose, when I reset the fish room, because each tank's going to have a story and there's going to be people attached to that. And I just think it's a really cool thing that we're going to come out of it with something so positive. So looking back 2 years, what's the difference between now and then for Aqua Mate? So 2 years ago, I think I had about 30 subscribers and most of them were probably friends or family. I sort of started just making videos because I liked the idea of just recording what I was doing, seeing if it would help people. It kind of started out just vlogging, I suppose, a bit of a creative outlet, something to do once a week. I don't think I did it once a week then. I probably just did it once every month or something whenever I got a chance. But now there's weekly videos, there's lots of care guides, there's lots of tips and that sort of stuff to help other fish keepers. The channel's almost at 3,000 subscribers, so it's grown a fair bit. It hasn't exploded and done anything crazy, but it's just slowly kept going up and up. So it's been really good, and it's also kept me pretty centered, I suppose, with YouTube and fish keeping, that every week I've got to make sure that I'm doing something that's going to be worth showing in a video, but also keeping me on top of all my tanks, making sure that all the fish are really good, all the water changes are done. And I suppose it's just become a really good hobby for me, and to share my newfound love of making videos with an old hobby in keeping fish. In the past 2 years, how much has the hobby grown in my area? Look, it's a real tricky one because I'm not in the industry, so I couldn't say, hey, we've noticed more sales, we've noticed more of this. We in Melbourne, Australia, here we have now classified as the harshest lockdown in the world. We're probably 250 days where we haven't been able to leave our houses unless we're getting food or giving care or getting vaccinated or getting tested for COVID. But one interesting thing, speaking to a lot of the other shops, was the first lockdown, they got really busy. So a lot of people found that time and went, well, we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. They set up fish tanks at home, so it was a good project for them to sort of help them through. So that means there's a lot of new beginners started just over a year ago. I've noticed a lot of new names on the Aqua Mate channel and other channels when they're doing live streams and that sort of thing that are from Australia. So it's definitely grown from that extent, I suppose. But I don't know, I've also lost a couple of aquariums near me. So it's one of those things, it's just sort of rides in waves. And the more I've been doing this, the more I'm learning about local businesses and trying to support them, not just the shops, but also people that grow plants, people that breed fish, people that make fertilizers, fish foods and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely in a healthy place, and there's a lot of exciting times ahead. What's my premier vision for the next 5 years? That's a really big question. I suppose I just want to keep making videos that I think people are going to watch. I made videos maybe 18 months ago that are still getting watched today, and I find that really encouraging, and also shows that while you're trying to do something, you might put a video out and no one watches it, but then slowly people start looking for it, and it actually does help a lot of people. So it's really encouraging hearing back from a lot of people when something you do helps them specifically. I don't like that I do this, but I still do follow the subscriber count and the views and that sort of thing. And I mean, I think I had a goal when I started. I was like, imagine having 10,000 subscribers. I think that that's a very real possibility. And the biggest dream was to have 100,000 subscribers and have videos that are always helping people, and really easy for people to find. So that would be a very long haul, maybe 5 years, maybe 50 years, but that's sort of a little bit of a goal. The other thing I was thinking about starting an online store as well, and when I'm using some of these products, that it's just nice and easy for people that if they watch a video, they think, yes, that's what I want, that I can easily provide that for people, make a little bit of money on the side so that it sort of pays for my time to do this, pays for the equipment. It would be amazing that if it paid enough that I could just not do my full-time job and concentrate on the aquarium industry in Australia, the Aqua Mate YouTube channel, and a few other little bits and things that would make me sort of live that dream of working for myself. I skipped over a question, sorry Riley. Are there any surprises expected regarding the aquarium channel? Could you share a peek with us? Any surprises? I've just sort of started a few of these aquascapes. They're all dryscapes at the moment. I've done one that just came out a couple of weeks ago, just a little 20-litre tank. There's a 50-litre tank sitting right next to it. So I'm going to do a similar sort of thing. It's sort of revolving around plant growth. It's something that I'm still learning and I'm always learning about. But if I can nail some of those tanks now with the plant growth, I feel like I could create some much better videos in the future and be a little bit more helpful to those on YouTube. I do have right behind the camera here, I bought a 60 centimeter, it's a Netley RGB. It's a pretty fancy light, really good for planted tanks. And I'm waiting for a tank to come in to go and sit next to that marine tank over there. I haven't shared that with anybody. So I've kind of got 3 or 4 setups going at the moment that are all in in different various stages of being set up. So it's going to be really fun to follow that journey, choosing the substrates, the hardscapes, the plants, the fish, the filtration. And I think the aim is to sort of create 4 or 5 different new tanks that will appeal to different people in the hobby, and hopefully capture people's imaginations and they can start their own. I want to say thank you again, Riley, for having me on board. This is the second video that we've got to do together, and it was probably 2 years ago. So it's been really cool to sort of ride this journey with you as well. I think I found you in some fish keeping live streams. We both like to have a bit of fun and poke fun at Aquafunk because he's such a good guy, and we know that he'll give it back just as hard. And it's the sort of thing that when you start a YouTube channel, you think you're just going to put a video on YouTube, but you don't realize you're going to make friends in Jamaica and Florida when you're living in Australia. So thank you very much for including me. I really appreciate it. Sorry it takes so long to get back to you sometimes, but good luck with the rest of the series. And if you're not subscribed to Fish Keeping Jamaica, make sure you are. And definitely check out Aqua Mate if you think that some of the stuff we spoke about is something you want to follow for years to come. Thanks, guys.